Hi, I'm Jean Christensen, and I'm going to interview Nicole Martinez. We both work at Abbott, and we have a position in my area open. Okay, Nicole, I was wondering, can you tell me about a time that you worked with a difficult manager, and what made them difficult to work for, and how did you make that a success?
Okay, so I've worked with quite a few managers in my career. I would say if I think back to the most difficult, it would probably be a woman that I worked with on a very high profile program. It was a very stressful program. There was about 200 people working on the program. And she had, we'll say, a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety about what was going on. And so there were times in meetings where she might berate somebody or yell at people. It kind of caused a lot of tension in the room. I kind of noticed this early on in the program, and I had kind of heard about her style. So one of the things that I did was, in going in the meetings, number one, refreshing myself that, she did have a lot of stress, and number one, don't take it personal. She was actually a really nice person personally,
Mm-hmm.
and then also working with my team to make sure that that I kind of helped to shelter some of that from my team, so they didn't have to deal with it. I also started to understand her operating methodology and how she worked in meetings. She kind of had a tendency to go into meetings and right away kind of get a little defensive, nervous, right? Are things going to happen, etc. So kind of readjusting the way I talked to her to make sure that that I was presenting in a way where I kind of reassured her before she had a chance to kind of get nervous. So it was definitely a challenge, but just something where I think I just had to adapt myself, and it actually ended up working out really well. She actually gave me a promotion, so I guess I learned.
You adjusted to her style. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds like. Okay, can you tell me about a project or assignment that challenged your skills? What did you do to manage the situation, and what was the result?
That challenged my skills. Okay, so that would probably be the project that I'm on right now. So I'm currently on a manufacturing execution project for our Ireland plant. And I've never worked on a manufacturing system before. And I haven't been in the project realm of IT for about 4 years now. So I was a little nervous about kind of getting in there and starting. But I took an approach when I first started, which was first I was going to sit back and really actively listen. And I took a lot of notes and not really talking much in the meetings. People were probably wondering why I was so quiet. Just making sure I understood what was going on before I started interjecting myself in there. And then once I kind of got the gist and the scope and understood some of the issues and challenges, it made it a lot easier. So then going forward, I felt, it was almost like riding a bike. All of a sudden I was back into projects. And I was able to kind of catch on and really understand a lot better, even though I had never really worked in that space before.
Mm-hmm. It's good how that come back to you.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike.
That's wonderful. Okay, can you tell me about a problem that you were responsible for solving and knew that you knew required unique solution? What kind of solution did you come up with?
Okay. So, in my previous job where I managed vendors and budgets, we had an issue where we found out that the contract that we had went into, everyone didn't really understand a lot of it, and it started to have a negative impact on Abbott and our pricing. So I spent many nights trying to work through the math to figure out where we kind of fell short and what the issue was. And then once we figured out what had happened in the contract and why it was we were being charged what we were being charged, I had to present that to my leaders, which I think everyone was in a little bit of dismay, as how we kind of missed that. But we caught it actually quick enough where we were able to work with our contracting organization, and we quickly worked on contract changes. And the vendor, once we kind of explained what we found, and I don't think that it was ill intention of the vendor as well. I think nobody really understood when we went into it. It was so big. We adjusted the contract and kind of evened everything out and got it to balance out. But it was really stressful, and really a learning experience. And how do you work with people who, you know, if your first thought is, how did they do this to us? And then realizing that, you know, maybe it was a joint, you know, misunderstanding of how we kind of wrote this contract.
Right, whenever you have to deliver news up that's
Yeah.
not the best news,
Yeah.
it can be extremely stressful because you don't know how it's going to be received always. So that's a good story. Okay, well, this is sort of a management position that we're looking at here. So can you tell me about a time when you facilitate other people and to achieve a common goal?
Sure.
And how did you get everyone on board with that?
Sure. So, in our organization, IT went through a major transformation. It was very difficult. There were reductions in force, large reductions in force, and I was part of the team that was putting together kind of the organization structure and processes for how the organization would look after we moved a lot of our services over to 2 service providers and impacted a very large portion of our employees. It was hard, right? Because here we go, we've, you know, riffed, you know, about 70 to 80% of our employees, the people who are left, we're now telling them to get on board and to follow these processes and to kind of trust us in going forward. And so, you know, it was hard to kind of build that trust. So, you know, one of the things, the role that I had, which was service management, was I would meet with the different divisions in IT, and we would actually have big, you know, week-long sessions of brainstorming and talking about the model and what the model meant, and making sure that we were available to people, and making sure that they understood that it was now a partnership. Before, IT was in every different division, and we didn't work as partners, so making sure that everyone on the team understood that it was a partnership now, and that we understood things were different and they weren't going to be the same, and we weren't expecting them to be the same, but to work with us to kind of let it all, you know, even out. And I think, you know, although it was difficult, I think we've now gotten into a model where everyone understands it, everyone works together, and you know, we worked through some bumps, but I think overall, it, you know, we've really done a good job at getting people to kind of work through this, all the change.
Right, I would agree, and that number of staff reduction.
Yeah.
It does make an impact on the whole company, so I can see where it would take a trust to build back that trust.
Yeah.
You have to, for sure. Okay, good. So, as part of the leadership team, you know, I would like to know just what is your leadership style like? How do you like to work? Manage? What type of people do you like to manage, and what is your style?
Okay, so I would say I'm probably competitive, but with that, I tend to even it out with I'm not a micromanager, and I like to empower my employees to come up with options and decisions on their own. So for instance, an example is right now I was tasked to implement Agile in the BSS organization, a big undertaking. We brought somebody on who was working for me to help implement it. And one of the things that I told her, I said, you know, this has to be successful, right? We have to be successful, we have to do this the right way. But I really relied on her and her knowledge of Agile to help to come up with kind of a playbook of how do we do it here. And of course I have, you know, suggestions based on the organization, based off of what I know. I've been here a long time, etc. But I really wanted to empower her to be able to drive that change with the support of me and our leadership. And you know, one of the things that, you know, I always encourage, you know, everyone is, you know, I'm going to tell you what we need to do, but I want you to say how we should do it. And if it makes sense, then I want to give you that, you know, empowerment. And I also believe in empowering them to make decisions. I really think it's important to allow my employees to make decisions. And always open door. I always tell everyone, you can come and ask me whatever you want. You want me to review an email before you send it out? You know, I'm always there to kind of help with coaching and kind of helping them through some of the difficult things.
Well, that sounds like you want to guide them, yet give them the flexibility to make up their own decisions.
Yeah.
And to implement.
Yeah, and I want them to be excited, right? So when I say, you know, get that
Right.
winning attitude, it's I want you to be excited about what you're doing and to feel successful in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we've had things that haven't gone well, right? We've had things that maybe weren't so successful, but being able to say it's okay to fail,
Right.
but you know, let's learn from the failures and then just move forward.
Right. Okay. Well, Nicole, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Jean. Take
Bye-bye.
care.